Welcome back to Fable, everybody. In this video, we're going to see some Nightlife of Albion. We're still in Bowerstone, and you'll notice that these guys have gathered around this rink. They're only here at nighttime, so let's see what they have to say.
Welcome to the Fist Fighters gang. It's for people who like to mash each other's brains out. And it's a place where we hone our unarmed combat skills. It's also damn good fun. Now, I'm the head of this Fist Fighters gang. Those knuckles look plenty good to me. You're in. You up for a bit of a scrap? If you want to join in some senseless brutality, it'll cost you 50 gold. You'll get gold for every round you win, and even more if you can avoid getting hit. Stay in the ring, and if you take too many hits, you lose. So, you want to fight or what? You might be a powerful hero, but this is a contest of skill. Our punches might not hurt you much, but they still count.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, we want to do this. So it's only 50 gold.
Time to loosen those teeth.
Alright. So this is kind of an interesting, I guess you could call it, mini game sort of thing. It kind of reminds me of Fight Club, which, by the way, is my favorite movie of all time. And for some reason, I'm failing at this. Basically, you have to survive by not getting hit, and then hitting each of the combatants a certain amount of times until the next one comes up. Eventually, you'll be able to fight or run to the guy that we paid 50 gold to. If you survive the entire time, obviously you get gold for each round. You get even more gold if you finish completely. So it's a good way to make some gold. It's a lot of fun. If your physique is really high, you can knock these guys out no problem. This is basically no challenge at all at that point. And I think you also get renown for it.
Take care of you, myself.
And these fighters guilds, or fighters gangs, I suppose, are all over Albion. So they're not just in Bowerstone. The first one is in Bowerstone. You have to do this one, but then later on you can do ones that are more advanced or higher up with higher level fighters, which is kind of cool. So,
Get back in the ring.
and of course you have to stay in the ring. If you're out of the ring for 10 seconds, you lose, or you're more or less disqualified, I would say. Of course, the leader is a bit tougher than all the other ones. But it's a fairly simple game. It's not too difficult. There we go.
That's some knuckle power you got there. The gold's yours.
So we get the fist fight level 1 pass. We'll be able to go to the next town and do their fist fighters gang. So we get 50 renown, and I think we got 150 gold. I think that's what that said. So we doubled our cash and got some renown, which is good. They'll always take your shirt off for the actual match itself, so you can go ahead and put clothes back on your character. My god, he's skinny. He doesn't look like hero material, does he? Ah, he's such a tiny little pinner. Jesus. Alright, well, this is a good time to also check out some clothing. I didn't really mention this, but of course all your clothing is in its own menu, and they're separated by different parts of the body it covers, and then you also have suits. So if you have matching outfits, they'll just go into a suit automatically and you can put it on, which is really cool. We actually come default with the villager outfit, which is what we got when we left the guild, the apprentice outfit, which is what we were wearing when we were in the guild, and then also the hooded apprentice outfit, which we didn't really see a whole lot of. We saw some people in the guild wearing it, but the game gives you the option to wear that as well, which is kind of nice. So it's completely up to you what you'd like to wear, and if you really want, you can go naked. I mean, it's not, it's not a big deal. You'll probably scare off some people, and unless you look really impressive, I think everyone's gonna laugh at you, and right now we don't really look all that impressive, but like I said, you can pretty much dress however you want in this game. So I think the villager's outfit was pretty good. It just looks normal, it's fairly attractive, and it gives us a pretty good armor rating, so we're gonna go ahead and keep that on. I don't know why I'm so tongue twisted today, it's ridiculous. Another menu I wanted to show off was the statistics, which is probably one of my favorite menus to look at. You can track your character's personality, which is just an addicting screen to keep looking up. This is a really, really important screen. It'll show your renown, your alignment, which is basically how good or evil you are. Right now, we're probably right in the middle. It shows you how attractive you are, how scary you are, you know, what class you are, your age, how much you weigh, things like that. So, you know, we start the game at age 18, and then as time goes on, we'll age. If you're evil, you age a lot faster, I'm pretty sure. It'll keep track of how many creatures you've killed, you know, what weapons you use the most, how many people you've decapitated, things like that. Also keeps track of your magic. And then this is also really interesting. It keeps track of things like romance, which I think is really cool that the game did that. It's just something that's a lot of fun to really look at. You know, your sexuality, how many people you've married, how many people love you but you haven't married yet. Weddings, divorces, widowed, how many times you've had sex, things like that. How many regions you visited throughout the world, quests you've done, how much money you've gotten from quests, things like that. You can keep track of how much money you're making and spending. How many buildings you've owned, things like that. Just all sorts of really, really cool stuff. Mini games in this game, you also keep track of that. How many beers you've had, if you're an alcoholic or not. Crimes as well, so you can keep track of just how much crime and bad things you've done, and if you've paid any fines, you know, things like that. How much money total you've had, how much total money you've spent, and how you're spending your experience. So I try to look at the screen a lot just because I'm mostly just addicted to see how much progress I've made and all that kind of stuff. But probably one of my favorite screens in the game, and probably, in my opinion, one of the best features they had, just because they don't only keep track of the actual important storyline stuff, but also just really, really fun stuff to keep track of. So that's a pretty important screen. I've also got experience, how much you've put into each one of these things. These are all of the things you can put experience into, and it will shape your hero however you wish to shape him. So we've also got like logbook. This isn't really that important. This is just you can read books that you found, information on the Guild of Heroes and Quests. This is kind of like a help menu almost. Information relating to combat, melee, ranged, or magical. The most important things a hero should know about. Story, so if you haven't like played the game in a while, you can come back and it will kind of give you a recap of where you were. Basics of the game, information on villagers, crimes, trading, objects, things like that. So like I said, this is kind of like a help menu if you ever need it. We've got our quest menu, which I've showed off. This is the map menu, which is every single place you visited in the entire game. It looks pretty empty now, but we will get it nice and filled up. Equipment, the show is not only your equipment, but also all of your clothing, your items, and styling cards that you may have. And then skills as well, which will show off your magical skills, so if you have a bunch of magical spells. Right now we only have lightning, but if we had fire or something like that, fire would be in there, or if we had physical or surround spells, they would also be in this menu. And expressions. I haven't really gotten too much into expressions yet. I don't really like to deal too much with this until I'm a little bit more renowned, or else I feel it's kind of a wasted effort. But basically expressions is how you interact with people. So you've got like social, which is basically expression for those keen to make friends. So this is what you do in social situations. Renown is kind of when you want to really, really impress people. You can, you know, do like a sexy pose to show your muscles, or flirt with people, things like that. And then alignment are expressions required to expressions required with change in alignment. So if you're evil, you're going to get some really, really evil, kind of nasty kind of expressions to use, and if you're good, then you can get some good ones. So you can actually go back and forth and get a bunch of them if you want to. Right now we only have Caustic Dance, which is kind of an evil one. I don't know why we got that one, but either way, I think that's pretty much it for this menu. So they have a lot of menu stuff you can check out, which is really, really interesting. I said we were going to do nighttime stuff, and I haven't really done any nighttime stuff at all. I'm sorry, guys. There's not really much to show off in Bowerstone. People's doors are closed, obviously, because it's nighttime, whereas in the middle of the day you can just walk right in and steal all their stuff. But at nighttime, their doors are closed, and the only way to get in is to why can't I think today? Pick the locks of their doors is what I meant to say. In order to go in and steal their stuff. Shops are obviously closed, so like this guy isn't here. And he's also cleaned up his stock for the day, so he can't just, come in here and steal all those weapons. He'll clean up shop, things like that. The only shop that's open at night is the bar, or the pub, and then there's people walking around in the pub, things like that. You can play games at the pub, which I'm not gonna do. There's also people like this, and they're mercenaries, and you can hire them to follow you around, but I personally don't do that because it's expensive and it's very unnecessary, and if they die, then I don't think you get any of your money back, so that's kind of annoying. At inns, you can also examine a bed and you can sleep in it. So if you ever feel those eyelids getting heavy, find a bed and make yourself comfortable. Night will turn to day and day to night in the blink of an eye. So this is a really good way to restore any HP if you don't feel like wasting items, to change the clock quicker, things like that. And it's usually pretty cheap. It's only 35 gold to use this bed. You can use it day or night. It doesn't matter. So that's also kind of fun. But for the most part, Nightlife is usually dead. There's certain quests sometimes that only show up at night. The Fighters Guild only shows up at night. But for the most part, the majority of the stuff gets done during the day. So I think we've seen enough of Bowerstone for now. We're going to go back to the guild because I think there's some more quests we can take, and we really need to start working on some quests so we can get some more experience and some more money and things like that. Alright, so back at the guild, let's go ahead and examine the table here, see what we've got. Alright, so this is the next storyline quest, and it's really nice because they give you the option from here on out, which is they kind of do this throughout the game, so they kind of, I guess, meet the needs of people who want to be really evil or meet the needs of people who really want to be good. So in this instance, we can choose to protect or attack Orchard Farm. Both of them have their benefits, I suppose. Protecting it, obviously, you get some really, really good points if you feel like protecting it. I think you get more experience, although I guess I shouldn't say that. But if you are evil and you decide to attack the farm, you'll get more money, you'll get evil points, and things like that. So it has its ups and downs. Whatever you choose really doesn't end up any differently. But I'm being good, so I'm going to protect Orchard Farm. I don't know if I'm going to do a run of evil, but I'll probably do is be good for the majority of the game, and then at the end of the game, what I'll do is I'll just start dicking around and kind of add some evil points, just to kind of level it out and tend to that people's genuine interest in being evil, because it's a lot more interesting to be evil. Actually, you know what? While we're here, we can actually go ahead and get our first mushroom, or get close to getting our first mushroom. So I think we might as well do that now. The first mushroom is in the guild woods, which is where we squashed all those bugs as a kid. That was quite a while ago. In our hero's life, anyways, that was a while ago. For us, that really wasn't too long ago, because thank God we age like crazy in this game. Alright, there's that lonely green dot just sitting there. So this is obviously an important person to talk to, so let's talk to this guy here.
Hey, hi, look, could you do me a massive favour? My name's Cyril. Me and some friends had a little party here the other night, and I met this drop-dead gorgeous girl from Oakvale. Oh, Myra. I mean, she was a stunner. At least I think she was. But I also thought the trees around us were running around on little chocolate legs, if you see what I mean.
Oh, they were so stoned.
Anyway,
Those are some hallucinogenic mushrooms.
well, probably. I mean, maybe it was just the mushrooms and she's actually just an ugly stick victim. Even if she isn't, what if she doesn't like me? I'm going to take my chances all the same. Please, take this letter to her in Oakvale.
Alright, so we get a letter from Cyril.
I must know how she feels. The suspense is killing me. Oh, one more thing. Don't try to pass the letter off as your own. I've spent weeks perfecting its sublime poetry.
Alright, so we'll hold on to his letter for now. When we find that girl he's talking about, we can give that letter to her and we can work a little bit more on that quest. But to initiate that quest, just talk to him, and eventually it will lead to us getting a mushroom. So, anywho, I think this is probably a good place to stop. In the next video, we will work towards making our way to that first quest, which was at Orchard Farm. And we'll start our first major quest to get a lot of experience, gold, and things like that. So thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all later.